There we go. So this would be Dan Markel's parents. Whoo, their victim impact statements were powerful. This lady, Ruth, is definitely a Grizzly. Both of them. I'm just like, whoa. They handed it to Donna. Before this live stream started, I had another poll up asking, how many times have you watched Donna's reaction to the verdict? And many of you, 17%, voted 10 or more times. And I'm in that category. I've watched it so many times. I'm going to watch it another 10 times because her reaction, oh my word. If you didn't see the verdict, you got to go see it. She was basically throwing a tantrum. There were no tears. She was stomping her feet and looking all angry because she didn't get her way. She's used to getting her way. Okay? The booted chick, welcome. Okay, so let's listen to this.
Hard years. And I have a lot of people to thank. With the prosecution, the law enforcement, they've hung in with us from day one. And like I said, the Tallahassee is known for football. I think it's better known for prosecution and law enforcement skills and high standards of delivery of an excellent practice. Tonight, we have a lot of people to be grateful for. I've often said my life is full of two words, trauma and gifts. Tonight, I'll talk about, I said the trauma inside. The loss of Danny Markel is a great loss for all of us. And the gifts are all the people who've supported us, our allies from FSU University, the Tallahassee community, and all of you in the media, of which we've had tremendous support. Social media, podcasters, print, and all other aspects of helping us produce and deliver this very important communication. So thank you. We are grateful.
Ruth, you mentioned the Markel Act in your comments, and I know so many people are wondering, will the Markel family be able to enjoy the protections of the Markel Act that is named for Dan?
Well, the Markel Act actually it's specific to, just to answer the question very specifically, it's part of having a civil or a criminal offense against the spouse of a person who has been deceased. We have had access because of the Markel Act. So as it was passed, it opened up. Wendi had invited us to the bar mitzvahs. We had a little bit of an opportunity to have communications and some visits, but they're highly choreographed. It's not a natural process. We are looking for when we can communicate via email, via phone. We have everything is done still through Wendy's devices, let's call it, and time frames. So we're looking for a more natural opportunity.
Ms. Markel,
Shame, and I really hope that they do get to see their grandkids, Dan's kids. The boys are now, I think they're 13 and 14 years old at this point. And as I say, it's like highly coordinated. They've seen them twice, I think. For the first 6 years after Dan's death, they didn't see them at all. And due to the Markel Act, which they had to fight hard for, they've been able to see their grandkids. That in itself, if I was on the jury and I heard that, I'm like, guilty on top of everything else. Hearing all that evidence, and then after Dan was murdered, Donna's behavior. Yes, the bump, the wiretap calls, her escape to Vietnam, the checks, all of that. But then on top of that, you changed your grandkids' names to Adelson, erased any sign of their father. Okay, you were not curious, this is now Donna, about who killed your former son-in-law, okay, and asked no questions, literally told Rob Adelson, I don't care, it's not my business. Because he's like, there's a huge reward, the FBI's on it, and she's like, I don't care. Okay, doesn't concern me, she said. Wow, all of that, and then on top of that, you isolate the grandkids from the Markels. That is so evil. Shame, man. Those kids must also be, they've been isolated by Donna and Wendi. So it must be really confusing for them to see all this. Well, there goes grandma. She's probably going to be LWOP. There goes Uncle Charlie. They lost their dad. Who knows what they've been brainwashed into believing about their dad. Shame, man. I hope that they will be okay. Alley Cat said Rob would have been the winning witness in my opinion. He was so nervous and scared. Getting up there isn't easy. I hope he knows how inspiring he was to others who deal with family like this, me included. Me too. Me included too. I agree. He was extremely inspiring. I'm very, very proud of him. You said getting free is hard, but worth it. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for your support.
I believe that everyone who was who participated in this crime has been held accountable?
I'll let other people in my family talk about that.
Okay.
Well, first of all, just one little side thing. We were originally invited to the first bar mitzvah, and then we were disinvited from it. So, just to clarify. My comments. First of all, I'm very, very grateful to the jury. They were very attentive. I watched them carefully. They listened. They obviously analyzed and came to a just decision. We're grateful to the judge for his patience and his guidance and that everybody followed the law, etc. We're grateful to all of you guys here. I can't begin to tell you. I always, to me, journalists were never, they're into just to post stuff in the papers, TV or whatever, but you guys have really, really, it's been 11 years, you've supported us, and because of you, this case never went cold. And I can't believe people stop me when I'm in Dillard's or I'm in the wine store or at a restaurant. My claim to fame, unfortunately, is I'm Dan's dad. But it's so heartwarming to see this community, the people, and because of you around the world, there aren't enough words to tell you how grateful we all are. This is, even though it's joyful or unhappy decision that's come out, it's still very, very difficult. And we still don't have the full access to the boys that we'd love to have. They're very, very controlled, very short, and very far and few between. And it's, we just want anybody and everybody who had anything to do with Dan's death brought to justice. And until that day happens, I will not be fully a happy individual.
And Phil, one of the, I think it's safe to say, one of the star.
Just quickly pausing, Linda said, if Wendy's next and found guilty, won't the Markel family get custody of Dan's boys? I mean, I would hope so. I would really hope so. Kathleen said, yes, that's us around the world, right? All over the world, shame. Everybody wanted justice for Dan Markel. There's already been 4 trials, 5 convictions. Will there be a 6th? I know a lot of people feel like it's not full justice until Wendy's arrested. Will it be Wendi and Harvey? Just Wendi? Do they not have enough against Harvey? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, right? Yeah.
Witnesses in this trial was Rob Adelson. What was it like for you to watch him up there testifying for the government?
Rob Adelson and I have, we actually haven't seen each other for a long time, but we do communicate via text, telephone, etc.
Is that not amazing? That the Markels are in contact with Rob Adelson. Rob Adelson is amazing. The estranged son of Donna and Harvey. A doctor, married to another doctor, that his parents didn't approve of because they don't like her because she's not Jewish. But then with Wendy's husband, ex-husband, Dan Markel, he was too Jewish for them. Like, what the hell, Donna? Oh my goodness. Mallory said, Grizzly forever. Donna's verdict reaction was wild. No tears, stomping her feet, in my opinion, trying to shame the jury. Absolutely. Trying to make them feel as bad as possible. Glaring at them and everything, right? You said judge basically telling her to shut up. That was good. But this, I'm so amazed that Rob and the Markels are in contact. I'm so glad to hear that.
Is an incredible individual. How this guy happened to come out of this family is beyond my understanding.
I think we respect his bravery and his courage in doing what he did, and we really, we'll be very honored to see him and connect with him, but in particular, we really respect his courage.
And Phil or Shelley can answer this. Did this one feel different? You had the Hitmen who were prosecuted, you had Magbanua, but now father to mother-in-law. There's a different kind of relationship between those two. To see her there getting found guilty, what was that like?
I'd have to think of how to answer that question. It's hard. Each one is very gratifying, obviously, and we're happy with the results. This one hurts, I think, a little more because of who it is. I made a very short little speech, but I think what I did differently this time is the harm to families, not just only ours, but to everybody involved in this mess. And so many children without parents, without uncles, aunts, cousins, etc. It's so hard to understand. She was an educated individual. She was a kindergarten teacher. Where did this come from? Like just,
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure this out.
Yeah, so many kids without parents now. I mean, between Katherine Magbanua, Sigfredo, Rivera, of course, you know, Dan Markel being shot, so the boys lost their dad. Oh my word! What a crazy case.
I was just going to add that there is a certain satisfaction in this verdict, despite the fact that anyone going to jail is a hard thing to imagine, and obviously hard to. It's emotional, but I would say there's satisfaction in this verdict, and I would say that we're hopeful, really hopeful, that this will open the door for the future generations to, you know, connect, for the cousins to connect, for, you know, rebuilding a relationship with my nephews, their grandchildren, my children's cousins. This is, you know, we hope that this will shed light. This will be the sort of element of truth that will be there for them to see. It'll be on the record for those kids to know in the future, and we would, you know, welcome the opportunity to reconnect.
And Shelley, what do you think Dan would say today watching his parents up there giving such eloquent, amazing victim impact statements, particularly Phil's last question?
I think he'd be really proud. Danny was one to do presentations. He was the, you know, really amazing writer in our family, and I think his parents, you know, would have made him very proud.
One question, what were the thoughts that went through your mind as you saw the defense strategy develop to kind of embrace the evidence against the daughter and the son, a mother in essence throwing their kids under the bus and acting as a prosecutor for the defense attorneys and calling Dan Markel Danny and all the stuff that they tried to embrace the evidence and pretend that they cared so much about what happened to Dan Markel?
Maybe those are better questions for the state's attorney.
Yeah, but I think the defense had to do their job, and I think that we have really looked at all the sides of the story, and thank you again. Thank you all.
We're very lucky that the state's attorneys and their team did such an amazing job in all of that. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you all for
So that was amazing. Now we're going to fast forward here to the next timestamp. I will link this video for you, which is here around Donna's reaction. Oh my word. I want to show you what Georgia Cappleman said. Huh? Also, Brady Starr said the Markel Act is a Florida law. The Markel boys currently live in Austin, Texas. Yeah, that as well. I really do hope that they will want to and be able to connect with the Markels, right, at some point. They've missed out on an entire family that loves them so much, right? Okay, so this is the state prosecutor, Georgia Cappleman. She's done an amazing job. 5 convictions. She's been the prosecutor throughout all these trials. And so it's very interesting to hear her comments about, well, what do you think about this conviction now, right? Okay, so let's listen to this. This is about 9 minutes worth of her being interviewed, okay?
Because we jumped
let you take a moment and think about this and ask you about this. So before we ask you the question that's on a lot of people's mind, what's it like in this moment? What was it like to have this defendant be found guilty?
I think I just feel kind of honored to be able to deliver this win for the Markels. You know, we've heard so much about a win for the Adelsons, a win for the Adelsons, and everything that was lost in those efforts. So it's just been really cool to be a part of this win.
During one of the pre-trials, you said these trials that have become my life. It's a lot of trials at this point. Talk about what happens when you're a prosecutor and you have to continue to follow cases like this one.
Well, I mean, I do have other cases. People don't know that. There are other cases in this office. And I care about, you know, all of them, but obviously this has become sort of a part of my DNA after investing so much blood, sweat, and tears into this case and getting justice. So yeah, it's been an epic battle.
Was this one tougher than Charlie's trial?
I don't know. I mean, I'm older, so I think it is. I think everyone is tougher than the last. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, more time passes and there's more stuff. There's more phones. There's more records. There's more emails. So it's a lot to organize, and it's a lot of little pieces to try to put together and try to create something cognizable that a jury can follow and get their head around.
And I think they did a great job with that. And we already saw, in my opinion, I think it's many of our opinions, right? I see social media all saying it. Oh, you're already gathering a lot of things. I'm sure they have over the years. I'm just saying they showed a lot more evidence that could be used against Wendi, even in this trial. They were like little previews. We're like, whoa, is this trial the one to get to Wendi? Is that what's going to happen next? Who knows, right? Oh my goodness.
Georgia, opening statements right out of the gate, Jackie Fulford appropriated Professor Markel's nickname, calling him Danny. A lot of people were upset about that. Did that bother you?
Not as much as it bothered some other folks. I understood what she was trying to do. It was not the classiest move, and I think she kind of realized that and seemed to correct that over the course of the trial. But yeah, probably not a great move.
And what about the amount of deliberations? It's roughly the same as Charlie, maybe a few minutes more, but not much. That surprised you? Because some people were predicting a longer deliberation.
A little bit. I actually lost. I thought it would be slightly shorter.
Damn, she was very confident in her case, which she could be, definitely, but you never know what the jury's going to do. The jury deliberated for 3 hours and 15 minutes in this trial, the case against Donna Adelson. And Georgia thought it would be shorter. Actually, I did too. Initially, I'm like, I'll be back in 2 hours. Then it was like, oh no, here we still are. How long will they take? Who knows? Are they going home for the night? No. We are going to hear from I'll show you some videos from the jury's foreperson, and I'm going to read you an article as well, okay, after this. So we're watching this first, and then we're going to be moving on to that as well. I wanted to tell you something else, but now I forgot. I'll tell you in a moment when my brain remembers.
But I was being pretty ambitious. But yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if it had been more difficult for them, because it was a large puzzle that kind of had to be put together. But I guess they got what they needed, and they knew what they had to do.
Will this be the last prosecution, sir?
You are asking the question. Why are you that guy?
Did anyone hear what that question was? Because I've listened to that multiple times. And she's like, why are you that guy? You're asking the question. What was the question? It's not the W question yet. That comes later. The W question being the Wendi question. Is Wendi next? That's later. What did this guy say? I don't know. I wanted to tell you, my brain remembered the deliberation for each trial. So Luis Rivera took a plea deal. He got 19 years, right? And he snitched on everybody. He was the getaway driver. So there was no trial for him. Then the first trial was Sigfredo, Garcia, and Katherine Magbanua. The deliberations there lasted 11 hours, mostly because Katherine Magbanua got a mistrial declared. They could not decide on her. There was no unanimous verdict on her. So Sigfredo Garcia got convicted in the first trial, and he was later sentenced to life without parole. Second trial was Katherine Magbanua, who got a retrial. There, the jury deliberated for 8 hours. And she was convicted on all counts, same charges as Donna, and she was sentenced to life without parole. Charlie Adelson was the third trial, and his trial was in November of 2023, And the jury deliberated for 3 hours. And then, they came back. He was convicted on all counts and he was sentenced to life without parole. So Donna's being 3 hours 15. Well, sounds about right. How long will Wendy's be? That's the question. Hidden in the Shadows said, I'm so happy they found her guilty. On to the next case. I can't imagine the fear Wendi has now. She has to know what is coming. Right? Yeah, I wonder.
Surprised by the defense strategy of throwing Wendi and Charlie under the bus, and was the adoptive admissions ruling something that you pre-planned or something that you all came up with at the last moment?
We had a few incarnations of how to deal with the fact that she had adopted Charlie's really ridiculous story previously, and we didn't want her to be able to distance herself from that and create a new, better defense, which she did seem to kind of try to be doing. So we did want to try to shove that on her and then, try to explain that to the jury. Okay, here's this whole other defense that she already adopted, and it's complicated, and it has all its pushback that goes with it. So it did feel like a difficult minefield to wade through to be able to explain all that to the jury, but we wanted to make sure they understood that, hey, she's already committed to this defense that's a loser, and now she's trying to switch it up and go to this whole other place, and you've got to pick a lane, it can't be both. So I think that's kind of what we were trying to do, so hopefully we were successful.
She's already committed to this defense, which is a loser. Yeah, the Charlie Adelson defense did not work out at all. Molly G said, I asked the jury foreperson about snacks on TikTok, right? They confirmed they were fantastic. Interesting, she verbally did not say they were fantastic because she did a part 3 and 4. She said they were okay, but she did say there was the jury foreperson. We're going to get to her after this. She said that they were like chips, granola bars, fruit rolls, things like that. Right, but she said they were all very, very grateful, and they thought it was so kind of Judge Everett to provide them with snacks. They were not provided with lunch every day, except for the deliberation day. They got, it was called Marco's Pizza, I think it was. So yeah, okay. There we go. Charlie said, will this be the last prosecution? Is that what the question was? Will this be the last prosecution? And she's like, are you going to be that guy? Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
It sounded like the new investigation developed a lot of crazy evidence, including you all were planning to use some phone calls that you were not able to use at the trial. Is the sealing of this evidence going to be unsealed once now that Donna has been convicted, or do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I don't know.
And you cannot still comment, I guess, about
I think
the
not,
details.
since it's sealed, right? Yeah.
All right, no comments about.
Even you imagine it to be, but I don't think I should comment on it since it's sealed by the court
How
this
did you
time.
feel when you found out that Donna was not going to be testifying? Something tells me you were probably salivating at the idea.
I don't know about salivating. Yeah, it's not like I was gonna wow you guys with some amazing new stuff or anything, but I did put.
Don't lie, ma'am. You were going to wow us. We were waiting for the cross-examination. Donna was very, very, I was going to say South African word. She was cuck scared. She was so scared, I think, to get up there on the stand. She wanted to testify. It looked like it. But I think she was scared of cross-examination. And ultimately, Donna, even though the judge is like, you must choose. She's like, I can't choose now. I'm not ready. My goodness, they stalled and stalled and stalled and stalled. The judge gave extra time. And eventually he's like, now you have to make a decision. And ultimately, Donna Adelson said, I don't want to testify. Oh, scared of the cross-examination, huh?
Tons of preparation into that, so I was a little bit sad when I took my binder that had 110 tabs and packed it away. So yeah, I was a little surprised. She seems like somebody that would want to tell her story, but it gets trickier and trickier when all these stories are out there, and she would have had to navigate a lot of stuff to get up there. So I do understand why she made the decision she did, and I think it was a smart one, but I was kind of expecting her to testify.
What was
a year ago
evidence that you thought in this trial might have made a difference that when you came across that you introduced?
I think the fleeing to Vietnam didn't hurt, especially since she denied it. She could have just said, yeah, I went to Vietnam. I didn't want to get arrested. But she didn't do that. She oversold, so that was helpful.
The number and the planner.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? How did you guys find that? Was it an aha moment?
Yeah. Kind of dumb luck. That thing is so dense, and there's a bunch of them. So we've just been sort of perusing them, and somebody just stumbled upon it and had an aha moment.
What about Rob Adelson's
There's a big
testimony?
link.
How key was that?
I think it was important, didn't you? I mean, I thought he was so genuine, and what a guy to be able to do that. You know, I mean, what a terrible situation for him to be put in, and to be able to rise above that and do the right thing. It's really impressive.
Did you all wait for this trial to put him on? Why did he not testify
This is
previously?
interesting.
I just didn't want to do it to him unless I felt like it was absolutely necessary, and I really felt like we needed him in this one.
Georgia.
And she was spot on. What a strategy to wait and have Dr. Rob Adelson testify at this trial against his own mother. That must also feel so liberating. You know, estranged from the family, estranged from this overbearing, controlling mother. and then you get called to testify against her. Okay. My word, that must have been like, wow, okay. That was, and it really held a lot of weight, I think. The jurors also, the foreperson said, yeah, that she made like a list of what held a lot of weight, and that his testimony definitely was right up there. It was the first thing she mentioned. Molly said, I mistyped, it was fantastic the judge gave them. Yes, it was, yes. And you said, you're correct, I left out important context. Thank you for the sticker. You don't have to buy another sticker. Thank you so much for your support.
Does Wendi have reason to be worried tonight?
You said that word. That's a bad word.
A bad word. Let me
No
ask you another
W
question.
questions.
Worry's a bad word.
Well,
Worry.
last time.
Should we say stay
worry.
tuned? Do we need to stay tuned?
I mean, you can stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I mean, such a quick, statement, just like, I mean, you could stay tuned. We heard it. We saw it. Look at her face. We're staying tuned. When are they arresting Wendi, right?
One other question for me. I mean, your father played football. I understand. It was my first Knowles game, and I take all the credit.
Oh, it was a great
game.
one. Lucky you.
Take all the credit
Go
for that.
Knowles.
And I found out maybe through the grapevine that someone else in your family is a professional female golfer, or that you're close to. I don't know if I'm right about that. Maybe not, but do you get the
Sounds cool.
Do you think you get that competitive spirit from from your dad, from your family?
Yes, I think both sides of my family are extremely competitive, and if you came to game night, you would see some pieces being thrown around the room, and
The
yeah.
most important question, do you have a fifth red suit?
I don't know. I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Number 5 of
Yeah,
5,
I'll
number
work on
5.
that for you.
Georgia,
For
can I ask you about
chapter
Charlie
5.
Adelson? Last
Yeah.
year you were it seemed like the state was going to call him, and ultimately this time around no one called him to the stand. Why?
Because we didn't want to tangle with him unless we had to, and we felt like we were able to successfully get out the story that he told at his trial and marry
Charlie.
Donna to it as much as we needed to without having to wrangle and tangle with him.
If I'm not mistaken, this was
Wrangle and tangle with Charlie, who just talks everybody's head off. Oh my word, Charlie can talk and talk and talk. Can you imagine? He would have probably been quite excited to put on another performance. So yeah, maybe we're all glad they didn't put Charlie on the stand. Although I would have liked to see that. Maybe it was better, yeah.
the first trial where you guys were able to access WhatsApp messages. Was there a new am I right about that? Was there a new technological
I can't
advance?
remember if we had any WhatsApp messages last time, but they are encrypted, so you really do have to get them off the device itself. So we were able to retrieve some threads
And
from
was that related
Donna's
to getting
device.
from Donna's device?
Yeah.
Was your all's case more polished? The demonstratives seemed to be up a notch from before.
Yes, that's because I didn't make them. I only directed. I did get some wonderful volunteer help. So I don't know if she wants a shout out or not, but
Were
yeah.
there other things that were new and improved? Some of the witnesses even seemed to be testifying a little smoother than before.
I don't know. Did they? I don't
I don't
know.
know either.
It's a blur.
If the trial had
Yeah,
gone
it's all
forward-
one long day.
If the trial had gone forward a year ago, you wouldn't have all the evidence from the new investigation. How significant was to have that note from Drina Bernhardt?
Oh man, I thought it was great.
That as well. Jailhouse informants. I think they actually stopped the interview here. Let's see.
All right, Georgia Cappleman.
Yep, they stopped the interview there. I will link this for you if you want to check it out. So there we have that. Okay, but the jailhouse informants, that also did end up holding a lot of weight. So now let's quickly read an article which was originally from the Tallahassee Democrat. Yahoo News has, republished the article. I'm going to show that because I don't need a VPN to see it. It's going to be the easiest thing to show you right now. So we're going to look at this, okay? Because yes, the Tallahassee Democrat interviewed the foreperson as well and confirmed that she was the foreperson. you know, in case anyone had questions. Was it her or not her? How do we know? How do we verify? They were able to verify that, okay? So juror tells all. The jury foreperson in Donna Adelson's trial speaks out after conviction. I'm going to show you some of the videos as well. Not even 24 hours after Donna Adelson was read her guilty verdict, and if you want to see Donna's reaction one more time with me at the end, we could do that right after this, okay? After the jury information. Okay, so just not even 24 hours after Donna was read her guilty verdict, a woman on the 12-person jury took to TikTok to dish about her time in the courtroom. I would do the same. Jurors were tasked with weighing Adelson's innocence or guilt in the 2014 murder for hire that killed Dan Markel, and ultimately they found Donna Sue Adelson guilty as charged. She is the 5th person to be charged in the infamous murder of Markel, a law professor at Florida State University. The 75-year-old sweet granny. Okay, no, it doesn't say that. I just said it. She really put on that sweet granny act as best she could. It didn't work. Okay, was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation to commit first-degree murder. So count 1, 2, and 3, guilty, guilty, guilty. The killing has led to convictions of 2 hitmen. A middleman between the Adelson family and the hitman, and her son Charlie Adelson was convicted as well. So here's the jury foreperson. A juror who identified herself as the foreperson said she led deliberations and delivered the unanimous verdict to the matriarch mastermind. Now that the trial is over, I'm free to talk about all of this, she said on a public TikTok video. My mind is just absolutely blown. If you have questions, let me know, because I can finally talk. The Tallahassee Democrat, who confirmed her position on the jury through court records and visual identification, so that's 2 important things, requested to speak with the juror, who asked more than a day after the story was published online to remain anonymous. Viewers took to the comments section, however, loading the woman with the questions about the case. Below is an excerpt of commenters' questions that she responded to in her own words. And we do love that when they go through the comments as well, and I'm also there in the comments somewhere, you know, and when they bullet point these for us. Isn't that great? So thank you, Tallahassee Democrat. Question: what evidence convinced you, surprised you? Honestly, there was so much. She's a smart woman. Well, this is the answer from this foreperson, right? So honestly, there was so much. She, being Donna, is a smart woman, which is why she avoided being convicted for 11 years. I'll answer vaguely, but I may need to do a separate video talking about this if enough people are interested. And then, so what evidence convinced you? 1, Rob's testimony was pretty telling. 2, all of her code was very telling. Side note, there's rumor that Donna didn't even just try to bribe those inmates, but also tried to get someone to harm Rob Adelson because she was terrified of him testifying against her. Clearly, rightly so. She was very scared, like he's gonna say, yeah. His testimony held a lot of weight. You should be scared. Thankfully, he wasn't harmed. But if that's true, what a sick woman, really. Understatement of the year. Okay, 3, all of her emails, texts, calls indicate how power hungry she was. She meant it when she said that Daniel Markel wasn't going to beat the Adelson family. 4, the script for Drina, the jailhouse daughter, right, if she were to be a witness for Donna, and the script for Wendi that she wanted her to testify on in Charlie's trial. 5, the extortion story is very clearly bullcuck. 6, as the foreperson, the final point I brought up that cleared up some confusion for other jurors was the wiretap video of Charlie and Katherine at Dolce Vita, especially the part towards the beginning when Charlie said, "My mom hasn't told my dad anything. He would lose it," or whatever he said exactly. And she, in her opinion, says he wasn't talking about the bump, it was about the murder. There's no denying that. Question: did the defense ever convince you that maybe she's innocent? The answer: when they mentioned that there's evidence that states that Donna thought her son was being extorted just 2 months after the murder, I questioned myself, like maybe I missed something, but we talked about it and confirmed that was not in evidence. It was part of Charlie's testimony, so that sparked a little but ended up not bearing any weight. Question: had the jury heard anything about the case prior to sitting in on the trial? Answer: while she acknowledged posting on TikTok during the trial things unrelated to the case, when court was not in session, she said she never sought out or bumped into any stories about the case. She said not a single member on the jury knew anything about this case before being selected to serve on the jury. Question: did the jury find the divorce lawyer Linda Bailey's testimony offensive, as she denied the contentiousness of the Adelson-Markel divorce and victim blamed to the max. It was disgusting. The testimony, I don't want to watch it again. Answer, if you haven't seen it, go check it out though. Yes, I believe all of us had something to say about that. The way she kept avoiding answering the questions from Georgia Cappleman, the prosecutor, really ticked me off. Like, oh, 80K isn't a lot? To who? To you? The one who's a super lawyer and has been for the last 37 years? Miss Ma'am. Question, do you think Wendi Adelson is involved? Answer, I agree that she was part of this in some way, shape, or form. She insulated herself from the co-conspirators way too well. She plays dumb so well. Looking at the evidence, the testimony from her brother Rob and her ex-boyfriend Jeff, I think she provided info to the other conspirators to try and set Jeff up to keep her family out of the light. I think the state's going to do everything they can to charge her with something. I just wish we knew when. Me too. All of us, right? We all want to know. I wish we had a crystal ball. We want to know when it's going to happen, right? When do we see that mugshot? Okay, so she said, I know she's panicking after the verdict was delivered last night. I think they have enough evidence to convict Wendi for accessory, possibly even conspiracy, but they haven't done it yet because they needed her to testify in Donna's trial first. It's a domino effect. I even believe that they should be able to convict Harvey for accessory. He knew, and he didn't do anything about it, just went along with Donna and kept quiet. Neither Wendi nor Harvey, her father, has been implicated in Markel's death. We're almost there. Question, how did the jury come to such a quick decision? She said, we went over everything several times because this is a big decision and this is serious. We all took our duty very seriously. Like, this isn't fun and games. It's someone's life, it's the law, and we all took it very seriously. At about the 3-hour mark, once we got moving and grooving, we voted several different times in several different ways. People were still talking, sharing their thoughts with each other about the case and whatever. I was passing out pieces of paper for everyone to write their final verdict down. Then I emptied one of the little containers that we had for our snacks and had everyone put it in there. I did this because I want people to write down what they honestly feel and think based on the evidence and the law provided, and without feeling pressure to go along with what everyone else is saying. All 12 pieces of paper said guilty. It was such a wild experience. And here now we have her TikTok video. Her account is Lacey with AJ. Okay, so I will link this for you so that you can go and check out part 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're not going to watch all the parts, otherwise we will be here forever. I'm just going to show you some here of part 1, and then for part 2, she says that she thinks Wendi's involved. So saying repeating what we just read, and saying why she thinks, like the way that Wendi drove past the house and all the things that we saw at the trial. And then part 3, I've got some bullet points to tell you. And then on part 4, she just said that it was a terrible joke that the defense attorney made when she said that somebody would like shoot her for, I can't remember for what, for not doing something. And she's like, that was really a terrible thing to say at a murder trial where the victim was shot. Yeah, we all felt it. Do you remember if you watched with? Yeah, okay, so let's listen here.
Someone else to have the opportunity to be foreperson and then just take us a million different...
So I've started 3 minutes in, as you can see, out of her 9-minute video, because in the beginning she's just like, hi, I was like on the jury, I was the foreperson and all of that, so we know that now. So I'm starting at 3 minutes in of part 1, which is why I'm going to link her videos if you want to watch all of them fully.
Directions, and I know how my brain works, so I was just, like very sequential and purposeful with my questions and discussions and what we talked about, whatever. So overall, it took us about just over 3 hours to deliberate and reach our final verdict, right? But within the first hour and a half, I want to say, everyone was agreeing that she is guilty. Everyone, it was unanimous within the first hour and a half. But as the foreperson, you need to be looking for, the different body language, people's facial expressions, all of that, just who may be unsure of something. And we had that. We had 2 people who said they thought she was guilty. They're like, but I'm kind of confused on this one thing, this like 0.2 on count 2 of her charge, right? So with that, I was like, okay, absolutely not. We are not unanimous right now, so we're gonna go over things. And we went over things.
I really like how she's such a leader. So True Crime Addiction said she's very much a grizzly, right? I feel protective of her because social media is doing its thing where they're like, oh my word, what an attention seeker. Like, why would she talk about this? Why can't she? Again, so would I. Would you not? If you were the foreperson at this trial and you're allowed to talk about it now, I don't get it. Anyway, so please don't attack her, okay? Be nice. But she is a mother of 2 kids, and her kids, she said, are around the same age that Dan Markel's kids were at the time that he was killed. So just being a mom, as the foreperson and knowing, my kids are around that age. Yeah, that's gotta just, it'd be even more heartbreaking to imagine, being killed, being taken out of their lives, right? Isabella, thank you so much. So yeah, and I like her leadership. She's got very strong leadership qualities because she, as the minute they went to deliberate, she said, so, okay, who wants to be the foreperson? And she said there was a guy from the with a military background said, I don't want to be the foreperson. And she's like, okay, well, can I do it? No one else is answering. Can I be the foreperson? And they're like, okay, yes, you be the foreperson. So I think she's a really strong leader, right? And she took a crap ton of notes according to people who were in the courtroom. There was a jury where they later say, yeah, it's this one. It was taking a lot of notes, right? We do love that as well. Thank you so much, Isabella.
Point by point, okay? We started count 1. Count 1 was the charge for first-degree murder, and it had several different points that we needed to, address. We went over definitions, we went over principle and how that would apply, all of the different things. We listed out, we had a whiteboard in there, and most of us are visual people, and so we used the whiteboard to go over each.
Ma'am, so are we. All of us here are visual people, aren't we? We do love presentations, visuals, everything. Yes.
Point, list out everything that people just said that applied and whatever. Those people who seemed a little unsure at first, they ultimately, what was needed, they needed the visual. But we went over everything several times because this is a big decision and this is serious, and we all took our duty very seriously. This isn't just fun and games and although it is a very cool experience to talk about now and it's exciting, it is someone's life, and it is the law, and we all took it very serious. So I need people to understand that. We went over everything, talked about everything over and over. And about the 3-hour mark, once we were moving and grooving, we voted several different times in several different ways. I first had everyone, we went by each count, right? So I had everyone go one at a time in order of our juror numbers, so 1 through 12. And I was like, okay, so for count 1, whatever, count 1 in general, is she guilty or not guilty? And I had everyone go one at a time. We all agreed guilty. After that, we did an all-at-once vote, and I was like, okay, so for count 1, raise your hand if you think she's guilty. We all raised our hands, but it's still doing our duty as we're supposed to. Went over it again, and so people were still talking, just they're sharing their thoughts with each other about the case and whatever. I was passing out 12 pieces of paper for everyone to write their final verdict down, and then I emptied one of the little containers we had for our snacks and had everyone put it in there. And I did this because I wanted people to, and I said this too, if anyone who's on the jury with me sees this, they know that I did this. I told people, I want you to be 100,000, 50 billion% sure of your verdict. So I want people to write down what they honestly feel and think based on the evidence and the law provided. And without feeling pressured to go along with what everyone else is saying. This is how we can be sure that everyone's on the same page. So write down your final verdicts. We'll go over it. All 12 pieces of paper said guilty. And before I filled out the final verdict form that we had to fill out, we did one more vote. And I went around and everyone needed to tell me out loud and to each other that they found her guilty on all 3 accounts. And that's what we did. And then, you know, filled out the verdict form, signed and dated it, knocked for the bailiffs to let them know that we were ready once they got set up in the courtroom. We went out there, you know, judge asked the foreperson to stand. That was me. I didn't show the jurors, but it was me. And I signed the verdict form, which I believe will be public record. But anyway, after that, you know, like he read the, what do you call it, published the verdict. And then, you know, there was that outburst that we all saw. And we had to go back to the jury room, and when we came out, because the parties said that they wanted, Judge Everett went one by one, once again, with all of the jurors, and wanted to hear us say, under oath, that we find her guilty. And that is what happened. It was such a wild experience. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to like share so much more.
Shame. And then she got discouraged along the way. She's made up, this was part 1. She's made a part 2, 3, and 4. But part 3 already, she's like, this has been fun, but no more of this because people are just so mean to her. You know how social media can be. So yeah, that really sucks. It's very discouraging, actually. Why are people like that? My goodness. So, but I'm glad she shared what she shared. So in part 2, she was asked, do you think that Wendy's involved? And she said, yes, she does. And in part 3, she said she was excited to be selected because some people were like, why do you seem so excited that there was a guilty verdict? She's like, no, I was excited to be selected. I was really excited to learn. She said she learned a lot about the law, about this whole process and everything. And she was honored to be on the jury and be the foreperson. She said the snacks were fruit rolls, chips, granola bars, things like that, lots of coffee, and they were all very grateful that Judge Everett gave them snacks. They had lunch during deliberations from Marco's Pizza. Lunch was not provided on other days. I don't know that, okay. Judge Everett, she said, was great and really had control of his courtroom and really treated the jury very well as well, which we all saw. We do love Judge Everett, right? I'll miss him. Can he do another trial soon, please? Okay. So she said none of the jurors stayed for victim impact statements. They were all escorted to their vehicles after the verdict had been delivered. That kind of sucks, but at least they could watch it now, you know, afterwards with the coverage. She has not yet researched the other trials because she said it's a lot. There's a lot to process, and this was very exhausting, which I can just imagine. So, but maybe at some point she will research the other trials, right? She said she kept an open mind. She stayed neutral until deliberations. She hadn't decided from day one, yeah, this lady's guilty. She listened to all the evidence and took a lot of notes. And yeah, that they didn't like the shoot me joke from the defense. And they also said that the prosecution appeared more organized, but she did note that, you know, the burden of proof is on the state. It was just her observation that the state did seem much more organized, which we can agree on, right? We've seen all of that. Now, lastly, let's quickly do this. Wait, we'll just quickly watch the together. Sorry, one more time. My goodness, one more time. Let's see this together. Are you ready? Oh, Donna, here we go.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
Damn.
And it is signed and
Look,
dated.
look, she's literally stomping her feet. She was pissed off, man. Not one tear is actually streaming down her face.
By the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury,
now she's going to clear it then.
Escort you to the jury room.
Oh, I'm going to miss this judge. The way that I love the way that he talks. Just like, no. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Sure, what a moment. If you want to go rewatch the whole verdict, of course, and the rest of that, it is available on the playlist. So I hope you will check out the playlist. You know where to find it, right? If you go to my channel, there's home, videos, shorts, live streams, podcasts, and then the playlist section. Okay, so go find it over there. It's also linked in the description box for you. So you can check that out. You can just click there and catch up on anything that you missed, including, of course, the verdict and victim impact statements. Now, remember, if you didn't see the beginning of the stream, there's a case management hearing that Donna Adelson has on October 14th of 2025, and the sentencing date has not been set yet. The judge was ready to sentence her right then and there, but the defense asked for more time and for a pre-sentence investigation for count 2 and 3. For count 1, I mean, it's going to be LWOP, right? Life without parole, mandatory life sentence. In Florida, that means LWOP. And then count 2 and 3, they want to do a pre-sentence investigation. So we are yet to find out. If you're watching this live with me today, it's September the 7th of 2025. Am I right? Wait. Yes. Already? Wow. And so at this time, we don't know the sentencing date yet. But at some point they will set it, and hopefully we can watch that together. That'll be interesting, right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching with me. If you are a YouTube member, we are now going to teleport, redirect, whatever it is. If you have your autoplay turned on, there's a toggle switch. You will be automatically redirected there. If not, click the link in the chat that I share with you throughout the outro. We will now go and have a members-only live stream. We're going to talk about some other cases, maybe a little bit more about this one, maybe some snark behind the scenes. So we'll do that. And then I will see you all again very, very soon. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching this trial with me. I really appreciate it. That was quite a trial, hey? Wow, I didn't get up much. You know, I'm supposed to get up like every hour now. I didn't get up. I was glued to the screen. It was like so riveting. What a trial. I think the state did brilliantly. I think the defense did their best. And yeah, I look forward to watching many more trials with you, covering lots of cases. Make sure you are subscribed, notifications on, leave some comments below afterwards, and I will see you again very soon. In the meantime, everyone, stay safe.